All right, welcome back to the finale of Sonic the Hedgehog 8-bit, and this has decidedly been the Game Gear port and not the Master System port. So I feel better knowing that this screen crunch problem is not a big deal for people who actually own a Sega Master System or a emulator for a Sega Master System. But we are moving through Scrap Brain Zone, and this is Scrap Brain Zone Part 1. See, lots of doors. They're going to be a common theme. And we hit the switch to open the door, then we hit it again just so we can't get through. Always a good thing to do here. And then we have to hit it a third time. Just make sure we know what it does. Avoiding the caterpillars. They are not the most annoying enemy in this level. And I say this level because, oh well. Oh, that was it. You know, after the frustration of Jungle Zone, what do you know? Here was an easier level, but now we come to Scrap Brain Zone level 2. And this is the one that likes to play with your head. So, it starts off looking a lot like Scrap Brain Zone level 1. You see us bouncing around and once again going through one of these doors. But then it will change, and that will happen. We still have to deal with those things, but now the conveyors, we have to use them like a waterfall. We have to get up them. So we're going to jump, and we have to watch out for the fireballs being shot from the wall. We work our way to the top of this stage here. And we didn't exactly miss all the fireballs. Fortunately, we missed that one. And now we also have to avoid the fire coming out of the ceiling. Another feature of this level. We saw some of that in stage 1, and naturally, I'm going to fall all the way back down to the beginning so I can do it all over for you. Well, okay, not exactly. But this is the, well, I take it back. I am exactly going to do that. But this is the sort of Murphy's Law of being hit once in a Sonic game. Once you get hit the first time, chances are everything will go wrong from that moment. Fortunately, we were able to recover, but you know, by rights, I should have fallen in that caterpillar and died. And now we're at a fork in the road, and you know, Yogi Berra used to say, when you see a fork in the road, take it. But in our case, we have to do a little bit of work here. There's a switch on the upper side of the fork that will open up a door here in the lower side of the fork. So first thing you'll notice is we need to get back to that other part of the fork. And that's how we're going to do it right here, by gaining this extra life and then heading up this passage toward the other fork. Now you'll notice when we went through that last path, we met a new and far more annoying enemy type to the caterpillars, and that is the pigs that shoot the little clear projectiles that are supposed to be bombs, I guess. But they remind me of the thing that allows you to finish a level in Super Mario Bros. 2. And, you know, you really don't want it. So we have to go kill that pig, because if we don't kill the pig, they will shoot a bomb. So here's Angry Birds long before Angry Birds was even conceived. And so now we hit the switch. And so now what we need to do is we need to go all the way back to the bottom route and get back to that point from there so we can continue on in the level. So, you know, we got to be a little careful. And you go check out what's over here. Yeah, nothing exciting. We just lost a few seconds doing that because that took us right back to where we were. So here's the place where we killed the pigs again. So now we have to jump back through the fire ceilings. Now the first two pits are bottomless, so you need to watch out because the third pit's not bottomless, and you may not be able to tell that just by looking at them. So now we're going to go the other way, and we're going to go back down this path and see if we can find that door that we opened up. Now, the way to get there is you have to jump down carefully so you don't miss the jump. Then don't talk to the pigs as they throw their bombs. Okay, so there'll be a pig at the end of each side. The problem is that the jumps to the right will lead you to a falling thing that's really hard to control. The jumps to the left, there's always a pig hanging out on the far side. So just go ahead and leap all the way and just jump on them. And then, once you get to the bottom, you make that jump. And we have our little transporter here. I would say these are definitely more 1960s Star Trek transporters compared to next generation transporters. And this takes us back to the new spot of the level. So you saw where the door was, and I don't know how I managed to hold on to that, but you can see that it didn't do me any good. So we're going to continue from the checkpoint. And again, we need to fight the conveyors and not jump into the fire. So right now we're at Fire 2, Sonic Nothing on this particular stage. And yeah, there's that Electro Ball on the bottom. I don't know why Dr. Robotnik decided to invest in Van de Graaff generators as an enemy choice. But, you know, it's fairly effective, and we'll see that electricity can be far more annoying than just those little balls. But now I'm going to have fun trying to figure out how to get into this little hole here. Alright, so we're going to safely run under these things, avoid the caterpillar, and voila! There we are at the end of stage 2. So Scrap Brain Zone, for all of its glory or whatever, you know, so far hasn't really been all that tough. And along the way, we must have run into a second Chaos Emerald because we've got 2 of them now. So much for me saying that I only get 2 of the things. Now this is Scrap Brain Zone level 3, which appears to start off the same way 2 does. And if you've been playing this game, you know that the third act of every zone is a boss act. And so, as we're wandering around here, I kept waiting for a place for a boss to show up. And I was kind of thinking, like, okay, what could they do here? Am I going to end up in a special room that looks sort of like Final Zone from Sonic 1, 16-bit? Am I going to have to chase Eggman for an extended period of time? And yes, this is the first time I've slipped and called him Eggman. You know, I'm from North America, and our localization for this game was Dr. Robotnik. So just by default, I refer to Sonic's enemy as Dr. Robotnik. I realized that his proper Japanese name is Eggman. Until we get into modern Sonic territory, where he calls himself Eggman regardless, I'm going to try to stick with the Robotnik name. But, you know, don't sue me if I fail here. And then I get to the running scene with Dr. Robotnik where he escapes on an elevator. So wait a minute. Where was our boss level? Well, the answer is there obviously isn't one. Scrap Brain Zone is the only zone, I will point out, where this is the case. So we're going to take our 2 Chaos Emeralds and we are going to head wherever this elevator takes us. And it's going to take us above Dr. Robotnik's factory to his sky base, which looks kind of like the Hindenburg from their picture of it. And welcome to Skybase Level 1, which has one of the most terrifying gimmicks in the entire game, and that is the lightning bolts. All these gyms can create lightning and connect to the other gyms around them. And whether or not you get hit by it happens to be depends on your position. You don't want to be in between these things, really, and so you have to be very careful. I did not get this right the first time. What you are seeing is a compilation of cuts and things. Okay, now I got hit a lot. Now that time the lightning propelled me over that cannon, which was nice. In fact, if you paid attention for like a blip, you could see the save game screen. Okay, another new enemy are those things. Now again, it's hitting me, propelled me onto the platform and gave me some invincibility during the lightning storm. So that was actually a little fortunate. And there's another save game screen. So you can see that I was being very careful at this point. And, you know, as careful as I was being for Skybase Level 1, and really Skybase Level 1 is just you getting to the Skybase. It wasn't anything compared to Skybase Level 2. Because Skybase Level 2 doesn't have a gimmick as annoying as the lightning. But first off, it has these rotating turrets. Now, these rotating turrets are positioned randomly. Every time you respawn, they will be in a slightly different place, meaning that they might kill you or ignore you just based on how they spawn, having nothing to do with you. Then you get into the tiny little hallway with this creature. We saw him before. He blows up. So you have to get close to him to make him explode without having the wall trap you. And then you've got to put yourself in between the two projectiles so you don't get hit. Because you're doing all of this with no rings. And then you land on Cannonball Row, and you have to avoid Cannonball Row. Easier said than done. And now we're inside the base. So the level's not even over. Until it ends. And so we've completed Skybase Level 2. That enemy in the hallway, I still think, far more frustrating than any single lightning bolt grid from Act 1. So now we come to the final level of the game, Skybase Level 3, which should be a boss act. So here we go. Now, this is how you know you're playing the Game Gear version. The Master System version actually gives you a slightly different level layout. There's a moving laser that goes around, and the thing that shoots at you is located on the upper right instead of in the middle, which makes a little bit more sense. But you need to hit the glass where Dr. Eggman is 8 times without getting hit by the fire coming out of the floor. The fire coming out of the floor is arguably the most difficult addition because the little laser things that move up and down are not hard to, don't look like they're that hard to avoid in the Master System version. But the fire here is a little bit random. And now we've broken through and we're going to run that sucker down, and he gets to his Star Trek transporter first. Then we follow. And that brings us to this scene. Not really sure what Eggman thinks he's doing here. I'm also not sure how, we're just going through Green Hill. And I'm not sure where we came from coming out of the sky to wreck him and ruin his day. And so we've won. Now, if we collected all 6 Chaos Emeralds instead of the 2 that we have, the world would have been restored with the power of the chaos. And it would have, all the pollution would have gone away. It would have just been nice and happy and green. As it is, with Eggman defeated, it's not like we can't fix it. No special bonus for us. You'll notice that. We also didn't get a lot of points for how many Sonics we finished with or how many Chaos Emeralds we collected. But with that said, that brings us to the end. This was a challenging game. I think it helped that I did it on the Sonic Mega Collection, where I could save as often as I wanted, so I didn't have to frustratingly start over and over and over again. But I can sort of understand what they were going for. They wanted people to get a lot of replayability, meaning that to play through once, you'd have to play a lot of Sonic. And you can sort of understand why I never got through it in my doctor's office. So, with that said, I will let the credits roll. Our next step in the Sonic Anniversary sweep is obviously going to be Sonic the Hedgehog 16-bit from 1991, which came out first before this game. And that should be exciting to look forward to, because as much Sonic as I've been around and played, the classic games are not games that I played a lot of. So I'm going to basically giving you a Sonic 1 playthrough blind, since I'm not going to consult anything before I attempt it. So with that said, I'll see you next time, and have a good afternoon.